Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this first Q&A clinic for Substance Organization Referentials Management Services, organized by the European Medicines Agency. My name is Caterina Scarpati, and I am supporting the change management for these services. And today with me, I also have Jaume Gonzalez, Pedro Batista, and Deborah Martins Braga, who are respectively product owners for the three services on which the Q&A clinic will focus on. So before we start, some housekeeping notes. First of all, please note that this session is being recorded and will be made available via the EMA corporate website on the event page and EMA official YouTube channel. At a certain point during the meetings, the participants will be able to ask questions or give your input via the audience interaction tool Slido. The interaction with Slido is voluntary and you may opt to remain anonymous. If you choose to use Slido, remember you consent to the processing of your personal data as explained in the EMA data privacy statement for Slido. Now, a bit of us housekeeping notes on Q&A management. As I mentioned, during this session, you will be able to interact using the interaction tool Slido to ask questions or give your input. To join Slido, you can either go at slido.com, including the code SORQA0809, or scanning the QR code you can see in this slide. Once joining Slido, you can send or upvote the questions you want to hear answered. The questions will be shown on the screen, and EMA colleagues here will verbally address the top voted questions in the live Q&A session. Concerning Q&A scope and use of labels. First of all, this Q&A, as I mentioned, focuses on substance, organization, and referentials management services. So 3 out of the 4 SPOR services. Please note that 4 questions related to the product management service and XCVMPD, dedicated live Q&A sessions are available. So questions on these 2 services are out of scope for this session. In a few moments, I'll just recap the opportunities where you can join dedicated Q&A sessions to ask questions on these services. Before sending your question, we suggest you use one of the following labels to get your questions answered in the relevant Q&A by the relevant colleague. So you can see here the OMS, RMS, SMS, and SPOR general label. And we kindly ask you to label all our questions as other. But we don't commit to reply to these questions because, as said, the focus of this clinic is OMS, RMS, SMS, and SPOR general. So, as I was mentioning, there are plenty of opportunities offered by EMA to answer live to your questions. First of all, we have a Q&A clinics on SOR services, of which the current session is the first one, as I was mentioning. So we have started this type of sessions following your inputs, especially during the SPOR status update webinars, which are held quarterly, where you express the need for longer Q&A sessions to allow more time to ask your questions and get your questions answered on these services. So we have started from today a monthly series. The next opportunities to get your questions answered on SOR live are the 13th of October, 10th of November, and 15th of December. All will be 1-hour sessions. Then, as I was mentioning before, for PMS and XCVMPD, we have dedicated 1-hour sessions, which are taking place on the same day. PMS will be in the morning and XCVMPD in the afternoon, and these are carried out monthly as well. PMS from 11 to 12, XCVMPD from 14 to 15. And you can see here in the slide the dates. So next ones are on 18th of September, 14th of October, 18th of November, and 18th of December. Registration is available via EMA website on dedicated event pages. You will be able to find the events really simply just by going to the search bar, and you can insert the title of the event and you will be able to find the event page. Okay, then before we actually start with our Q&A session, just a recap also of upcoming engagement opportunities that may be interesting for you. First of all, we have a public system demo on the 17th of September 2025. It is a live broadcast from EMA's event webpage. If you go to the event page and you type public system demo Q3 2025 on the EMA website, you will find it, and the agenda is already available there. While we have on the 8th of October, the last SPORE and XCVMPD status update webinar for the year, where colleagues will present you update from the past quarter, so from Q3 2025, and planned activities for Q4 2025. Okay, let's go into that. I see we have already a few questions on the screen, so I will start reading those. Okay, we have a first question, which is actually available on PMS. So as I was mentioning, this is out of scope for this session. However, I can anticipate you that the bulk update for PMS will be available from the end of September. An official communication will be released this week. Okay, then we have now an RMS question. Why do terms like granules in sachet are marked as granules in PMS, even if the terms in RMS are both active and the field conformancy is respected? So, Jaume, I think this one is for you.
Yes, thank you, Caterina. Hi, good morning, everyone. This one is actually specific for PMS, I would say, because it seems that we have both terms as active, as current in RMS. So I think in this case, the best thing is if this person could approach me directly with more details on the actual product or product information so that I can investigate, because with this information, I'm not able to say why this mapping was recommended. Yeah, I don't have enough information to say why this is the case. So I don't know if, Caterina, if we're providing our emails later, or if there's an inbox that the person can write to provide more details.
Yes, I mean, to contact EMA, you can of course use the usual channels. So for general questions, you can contact EMA by Ask EMA form. While for other types of questions specific to our specific service or a specific case you're experiencing, you can open a ticket on the service now, and so that the question gets directed to the relevant colleagues.
Exactly. So perhaps a question to ServiceNow would be the best, and maybe if the person could specify to the attention of the RMS team or something like that, maybe that will help, process it.
Yeah, you can actually select the service usually when you submit a question or raise an issue. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so when the SVG Flag 0 review will be completed for human substances? So I guess this concerns SMS, right, Pedro?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, so there's two aspects around this question. So there's the general cleansing of substances. So I don't know if it's referring to this part, but The substance cleansing has started several years ago. We have now cleansed around 50% of all the substances in SMS. So there's still around 50% left to be cleansed, and there's no defined timelines for this. So every year we are making progress on different substance types, different substance groups, but there is no timeline for the whole exercise. Then the other possible aspect is maybe more specific on the SVG flag 0 itself. So we do add SVG flag 0 to records that are either duplicates or invalid, and that we want to nullify, but we cannot nullify yet because they are linked to products or ICSRs or both. And in order to nullify these substances, we need to relink all these products and ICSRs. So this is a very complex exercise that affects many consuming systems, affects many products. It will not be able to be completed this year. So once we have more information on this exercise, we will communicate so that all stakeholders are aware of it.
Thank you, Pedro. Okay, next question. Why the GMP certificate data for manufacturer is connected at product level in PMS and not at organization level in OMS, being it specific for each manufacturer and not for each product? So, Deborah, I guess this is for you.
Not exactly, as it's a bit outside OMS scope. OMS dictionary, what we do is we maintain organizations as they are registered by the local authorities. Any particularities, any specification to a certain role is not to be retained on OMS side, is to be retained at the consuming system level, in this case in PMS. If you need any more information about this, please please place the same question on the PMS clinic for more information. Thank you.
Yes, and as a reminder, the next PMS.
You muted yourself.
As a reminder, the PMS clinic is on the 18th of September at 11. Thank you. Okay. Next question. When will the RMS lists that were mentioned in earlier webinar will be updated? Jaume, please.
Yeah, so I need to review this. I guess this refers to manufacturing activities, shelf life, and special precautions for storage. If that is the case, then we are still in the process of identifying experts to review those lists. But the plan still continues to have the complete lists, reviewed lists by the end of the year. We can of course provide an update later in time when we get more news, but the expectation is still to get them ready by the end of the year. Yeah, if those are not the lists that the person is thinking of, then please let me know.
Thank you. Then another question for you, Jaume. Is there an RMS term that suits for a distributor or of a medicinal product?
Yeah, this one, again, I think I would need more context. I mean, I don't know in what context this distributor is needed. I don't know in what RMS list this would be needed. So again, if the person could please send the query through service desk, ServiceNow, to the attention of the RMS team, providing more context on this, then I'll be happy to look into this. Thank you.
Thank you. Then question on OMS. What should we do when EMA rejects the address data mentioned in OMS when compared, for example, to GMP certificate? In fact, OMS rejects, saying they don't find the minor differences in GMP certificate, therefore the change requested is rejected. Deborah, please.
Yes. So taking back to my previous comment, remember that OMS aims to maintain legal entities and its respective physical locations. What happens often with addresses that are used in NutriGMDP is that for a specific certificate, companies need a group of locations, or they need a big plot with one physical location with more than one plot. And this, it's not one physical location as OMS maintains this type of data. Any data that is related with a certain certificate, it needs to be captured at certificate level and not at OMS level. We maintain the addresses. If there is any specific, if the inspection, this specific inspection comprise more than one building or more than one plot, then this is something that needs to be specified at NutriGMDP level.
Okay, thank you, Deborah. Then, often does data from OMS get synced with data in PMS drop-down list for manufacturer updates?
But this is a question that should be addressed by PMS colleagues because we made the information available. How the data is synchronized, that PMS colleagues will be the best one to answer this question.
Okay. Regional regulatory authorities, China and India, are not available in the OMS database, and we can only find national authorities. Should we use the national entry? Deborah, please.
Yes, we're doing this, especially for India. If you review the last OMS data quality standards, we're starting to including some state registrations for India. If you find any entry that we've rejected because of this, because it's not in the National Business Registry, we ask you your help to please help us in reaching our state authorities that will help us with this validation. So if you go through our OMS data quality standards and you see that we don't have the relevant state registration available there, please reach out to us via ServiceNow, and we'll be happy to further look into it. If it passes the validation, then we will include that missing state business registry in our data quality standards and in our day-to-day processes.
Thank you. When will the SVG flag blank review completed? Pedro?
So I already touched on that topic in the previous question.
Right?
So
okay.
there is no foreseen
Nothing.
timeline for the completion of all the review.
Okay, thanks. Does discontented MBO needs to be added even though they are discontinued 5-10 years back? Okay.
I don't think this is under any of the...
Okay, any of us is okay, perfect. So this will be more for PMS. In case, yes, we invite you to join, as mentioned earlier, the dedicated Q&A clinic for this topic. Thank you. It's very narrow RMS term that suits for a distributor of a medicinal product. Manufacturer business operation list distributor are needed to track for Annex H, but not in scope of PMS.
Okay, so I guess this is linked to the previous question. And I guess this refers to the manufacturing activity list in RMS because there's no such thing as manufacturing manufacturer business operation. So it's probably linked to the manufacturing activity list in RMS. And if that's the case, I was just checking now. And of course, I'm not the expert on this. So this should be double checked with inspections colleagues. But I can see that there's a couple of terms. One is storage and or distribution of active substance. And the other one is storage and or distribution of medicinal product. So I'm guessing those two might be suitable terms for to that relate to this term. But as I said, this is just my personal views. I'm not the expert on this, so if this helps, then great. If not, then please again submit a ticket, raise a ticket through service desk to the attention of the inspections team in this case, or RMS and the inspections team, and we can follow up on that.
Thank you. When is the vaccine cleansing predicted to be completed as per SVG flag 0 and 1?
So the veterinary vaccine cleansing has been completed, and there is a process in place with the substance validation group to ensure that all the new veterinary vaccines are reviewed as soon as they are created. On the human side, since it's more complex and there's much more impact on already approved products, this is taking longer, and this will not be completed this year. We will try to prioritize this exercise for next year, but it will likely not be for all the human vaccines, but the ones that are linked to approved products.
Thank you, Pedro. Next question. When will the medical device type RMS list be published?
Okay, so assuming this refers to the EMDN list, the European Medical Device Nomenclature list from the European Commission, then I'm not aware of any specific timelines for this. This is under our radar. We are actually working on it and making all the prep work to publish it ASAP. But this is actually a list, a question for PMS, because they are actually the ones that need to tell us by when this list is needed. So I would recommend that this is followed up with PMS, because the latest news I got is that there is no specific timeline for this. I know it should be sometime soon, between this year and next year, but that's the latest news I had. So best to check with PMS colleagues.
Thank you. Whose responsibility is to request addition of an organization? The organization itself, and the MAH using this organization? Deborah?
Well, ultimately, it should be either the sponsor or the marketing authorization holder, because these are the ones that are responsible to ensure that everything is according and all the necessary steps before the submission happen. But of course, this is an internal matter. If you as a marketing authorization holder or as a sponsor, if you wish to delegate this step, you can do so, because we have our validation. Our validation process that allows the registration to happen regardless of who is doing the registration process.
Okay. Thank you, Deborah. How do you ensure there are no duplicate organizations created? Another one for you, Deborah.
We have a bunch. We have a bunch of data quality management process in place to ensure this. So we have a process when we receive a change request, we have a manual process that the data steward will look into our database manually. Aside from this process, we also count with the support of some profilings Basically, it's some dashboards that we created based on our OMS rules, that if this manual process fails, we can always count with the support of our profiles to if there is a potential duplicate based on the location and the similarity at the name level. This is how we ensure uniqueness at the organization level.
Thank you. In OMS, if there are 2 entries that cover the API manufacturer address as mentioned on the CEP, can you pass 2 entries in PMS, or do we have to add a new entry in OMS, including both locations?
It's a PMS question.
Okay. So again, you can come back on the 18th of September in the dedicated PMS Clinic session. Thank you. Okay. Is the RMS ID mapping issue for authorized dosage form, for example, combined dosage form, powder, and solvent for solution for injection, rectified for PMS?
Yeah, I'm not too sure what this mapping issue refers to, but in any case, I'm afraid, again, it's a question for PMS because they're asking if this issue is rectified in PMS. So another one for PMS.
Okay. CEPs often include sites that are responsible for the manufacturing of drug substances intermediates. Should these manufacturers be added to OMS? Deborah, please.
Here, I understand it's about OMS, but it's about the use of OMS in CEP certificates. So the question should actually be sent to EDQM. They are the ones controlling the CEP certificates, but I believe OMS is now mandatory in all CEP certificates. So I think the answer to this will be yes. If you wish to have a CEP certificate, you will need to have the data registered in OMS. But please place the same question to EDQM. They will be the best entity to answer this question.
Okay. How to register placebo?
This is likely a question for XCVMPD for the registration of development medicinal products.
Okay. And again, reminder on Thursday, so on Thursdays, the 18th of September, next week, we have in the morning PMS Q&A Clinic, in the afternoon XCVMPD Q&A Clinic. Thank you. Could you kindly confirm when the variations classifications for RMS list is expected to be launched?
Okay, so I guess this refers to the amended variation classification, because the current variation classifications, we already have two lists published in RMS for this, but there is indeed the amended regulation. And again, the latest news I had is that this is needed by 1st of January 2026. So the plan, and again, I'm talking by memory, so I may need to double check this, but we're actually working on the list in lower environments so that our colleagues in EAF and other relevant teams can test this. And the list should be published in production by the 1st of January 2026. That's my latest recollection. Apologies, because I'm just back from holiday, so I might have those some of those dates wrong, but that's my latest recollection. So I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Okay, thank you, Jaume. Next, is there a project to link OMS and UDRA GMP so that the manufacturing authorization reference number, effective date, and medicines regulatory agency organizations are populated directly and not have to be provided by each MAH?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Because UDRA GMDP OMS is linked to Eudra GMDB. Eudra GMDB is consuming OMS on a mandatory basis since 2022, if I'm not mistaken. If the question is the other way around, to have Eudra GMDB feeding into OMS, no, there's no nothing in the plan to do this connection. So if here probably a question for the GMDB colleagues to have these details. Not clear to me where you want to see these details.
Okay, so for the person that asked this question, we invite you to write a follow-up question. We still have half an hour more or less, so we will for sure go to that. Thank you. When there is a name change for an organization, when will the older name be marked as inactive? Where can we find the update details of when name was changed?
So when we have a name change in OMS, we do not deactivate the previous name. What we do is do an update to the current record, and the old name become part of the history of the current record. Where can we find the update details? So if you have a SPOR role, you can do this through the API, or if you have a SPOR role, you can, it's as simple as login in OMS, you query your organization, and then an option will be prompt, which is export with history after you do the query for your specific organization. And there you'll have the whole history that a certain organization, what happened. And now with the new, with the upcoming feature, which is we want to enrich our Excels with the version reason. Then this will give you even more information about each version, what exactly changed, when it changed, it's already available there. What exactly changed right now, you need to look at the data and identify the differences.
Thank you. Next question on SMS. Should we need to submit a variation if a substance from flag 0 replaced with flag 1 as it is not per dossier or SMPC, or you say deepening country-specific health authority guidance? Pedro, please.
Well, if a substance with SVG flag 0 is replaced with SVG flag 1, it means that it is a duplicate. And in that case, you should refer to the replacement substance. There is no need to change the product documentation to align to the preferred terms in SMS, because this can even happen with substances with SVG flag 1. So there's many substance names possible for the same record. Only one can be the preferred term. So the important thing is to refer to the correct substance record, not necessarily the SMS preferred term.
Thank you, Pedro. Manufacturing Authority referential number, effective date, and Medicines Regulatory Agency organization are IDMP fields at both the drug product manufacturer and drug substance manufacturer. It seems pointless for companies to fill these fields as the info is in Eudra GMP.
This type of information will not come to OMS, so probably a question for PMS.
Okay.
To OMS, it's not relevant data.
Okay. Thank you, Deborah. If different addresses exist for a manufacturer, is the physical or legal address registered?
Yes. So we have our process allows this, as we understand that there are organizations that have a legal address and have second site. So as long as you're able to provide us the required supporting documentation, we're happy to create as many physical locations as that are required for a certain organization.
Okay, thank you. How does VMA address the confidentiality related to RPI generated with SMS data? Pedro, please.
I think this is a question on the use of SMS data in IRIS and the research product identifiers. So IRIS is one of the many systems that consume substance data. And in IRIS, there are certain business rules for certain regulatory procedures, such as orphan designation and pediatric investigation plans, that require that the substance has a systematic name or a scientific name before it can be used in these regulatory procedures. So this is not a rule at SMS level. This is a rule in IRIS related to requirements from the European Commission for these regulatory procedures. So if a substance is already registered in SMS with a company code as preferred term, so in SMS this is fine, but then if you want to use this substance in IRIS for an orphan designation application, your application will be blocked in IRIS until you submit a change request in SMS to change the preferred term in SMS. So SMS manages confidentiality. We can keep the company code as the preferred term in SMS, but it depends on where do you want to use this substance, in which type of application, which then it might have its own rules.
Thank you, Pedro. So to whom are PMS and SMS system unavailabilities sent? Pedro?
I'm not sure I understand this question. System unavailabilities.
Okay, so for the person who asked the question, could you maybe follow up with another question clarifying? Thank you. We don't have further questions at the moment, but we still have 20 minutes where EMA colleagues are available to answer live your questions on OMS, SMS, and RMS. And actually, while I've also just launched a feedback survey that you can find on Slido. Just a really simple rating question, just to let us know how useful is this session being for you to answer your questions on SOR services. And of course, also the usual free text question that we also leave in other webinars to gather your any other free comments and insights on this session. Thank you very much. Okay. SVG flag 0, duplicate cleansing, moved until further notice. When do we get specific deadline? Pedro, please.
Like I've mentioned before, we don't know yet. So there's many dependencies on this exercise, and what I can say is it will not happen this year. We will see next
year. Okay, thank you. In the meeting of NCAs on Monday, an announcement on SMS and PMS API availability on 9th of September from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. was shown, but apparently not all NCAs have received the message. So actually on that, I can say that we have contacted via email, SMS API users and PMS API users, and actually also PMS PY users, because even though PY will not be unavailable, it will still be affected in the ways data are shown. So data will not be updated during this time frame. So yes, if you want to clarify better in a comment, but in a further comment, however, I can guarantee that the message was sent to our repository of SMS and PMS API users. Thank you. And of course, also on the UPD. On the UPD website, there's a banner on that, since basically this is due to a release that will be happening in UPD. Thank you. SVG flags. Sometimes replacement substance given for a substance with SVG flag 0. Then what to do? Pedro, please.
So all the scenarios related to the SVG cleansing flags are described in the SMS guidance, so there's many different scenarios. I can give a very brief summary here. So if there is a replacement, then it means that the substance is a duplicate. So in that case, it's straightforward, it's a one-to-one replacement. If there is a comment saying it's an invalid substance, so this is usually for the cases where it should have been multiple substances registered instead of one. So that's why there's no replacement in that scenario, because it's case by case specific. And in that scenario, you should create a ticket with the concerned substance and with your product, so that we can advise what is the specific replacement in that scenario. It can also be that the substance is unspecified substance, so it's a substance that is very general. And if your product was approved like that, then there's nothing we can do. You can continue to use that substance, and we will temporarily remove the SVG flag and then add it again. If it is for a new product, then you should use a more specific substance in accordance to your product.
Okay, thank you, Pedro. Next question. Who can advise which organizations can be used as an API manufacturer organization in PMS, OMS, or PMS service desks?
Here, it's not a question for OMS. No.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying, Deborah. Regarding the organization name change, follow-up question on the one we were reading before. Current expert with history does not mention the previous organization name. Could you please let me know in which column it would be visible?
So the name should be visible in the organization name. It will be just one, and it should be towards the beginning of the existence of the record. If this is happening, I suspect it's because the data you're looking, it's one record that has been merged. We've identified that we have a bug that when we do one merge between two organizations, the system doesn't always handle correctly the previous versions. So if you see that your organization was one of these because there was a previous merge, then that may be the reason. If there was no merge, then if you could please open an OMS question, giving us all the details and the information you see in your export, we'll be happy to guide you to give you more information related to your market.
Thank you, Deborah. Is it possible to get a term registered in an appropriate RMS list if you require that term, or if it is already there but has been made non-current or nullified?
So in general terms, if a term is needed in RMS, then the user should submit a change request with the due justification on attaching as much supporting information as possible. And of course, the RMS team will assess that. Now, if the term that is needed is already there, but it's non-current or nullified, that means the term is already registered, but probably not in the status that the user would expect. In that case, there's two possibilities. The user can either submit a change request to update the status of that term, or alternatively, they could write to us or raise a ticket to service desk to the attention of the RMS team, providing details on what is exactly needed and why, and again, providing as much supporting documentation as possible, and we can investigate. Because if the terms are non-current or nullified, they were probably, that was probably for a reason. But we have to look into, into the exact details of this on a case-by-case basis, basically.
Thank you. Why are not all unavailabilities announced in one place, like ServiceNow VMA, so that everybody can see this? Okay, so many unavailabilities are actually announced there, usually just with 5 days of advance, though. While, for example, with the communication I mentioned earlier, what we try to do is warning the actual users of the system a bit earlier, so a bit more than 1 week in advance. But of course, we can flag this internally and make sure that actually all unavailabilities are flagged there. This is a good suggestion. Thank you. Which is the right category in ServiceNow to address an issue with substances flag 0? We had the case 2 times, and it is hard to identify the correct category in ServiceNow. Pedro, please.
If it is a question, then if you go to the support portal, to the tab substances, so there's 2 hyperlinks. The first hyperlink is for change requests in EMA Service Desk, and the second link is for questions. At SVG Flag 0 usually are questions, and the right buttons that you should click are also listed there.
Okay, thank you. Manufacturer data should be submitted for products mentioned in ULCM list, right? I'm not sure if this is in scope of your services, because for sure it's for PMS, but please correct me if I'm wrong.
So. I believe so.
Thank you. Where can an MAH find information on actions that they need to take for SMS clearance phase? Pedro, please.
So again, also in the support portal, in the tab substances, there is the link to the SMS guidance, and then if you go to section 8.3.1, then there are the actions suggested for marketing authorization holders.
Thank you. When does the manufacturer submission become mandatory? Probably this is still for PMS, but correct me.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. If the organization name change will update the existing name, how would you suggest this need to be managed in PMS, since the name update will not be applicable for all products?
It's a question for PMS.
Okay, thank you. If we have all substances on our products in XCVMPD, will our products be updated automatically by EMA and XCVMPD before EMA's nullification? So I believe this is for XCVMPD, right?
Well,
Or still,
it is about substances. I can reply.
Okay.
Yes, so like I've mentioned, before we can nullify the substances with SVG flag 0, we will need to relink all the products in all consuming systems, including XCVMPD. And we are planning to have a data fix to automatically relink all these products from SVG flag 0 to SVG flag 1. So before we do this data fix, we will provide a list of all the impacted product EV codes and substance EV codes, so that you are aware that your product can be impacted. You can already update your product if you want to, so we are not giving a deadline for you to perform this exercise. It's just if you would like to already correct your product, you can do so. If you do not do it by a timeline that has not been yet communicated, then we will do this data fix to relink the products, and after that we would then nullify the substances. But again, this will not happen this year.
Thank you, Pedro. Okay, so we still have a bit more than 5 minutes. So feel free to just write down if you have any last minute question. And meanwhile, I take the opportunity to remind you that the feedback survey is open. It is really important for us to get your feedback, since also this is a new type of engagement opportunity for you. So we would like to know if this was useful, if there are if there is anything you would improve. Really, we really read all your feedback and we make sure to implement it. So this is also why we organize these clinics. So yes, thank you very much in advance for letting us know how this went. Okay, we have another question. I have updated a product from the SMS substance with SVG equals 0 to SVG equal 1, but XCVMPD has switched it back as the detail is not visible from the SMPC. I know it's an XCVMPD question, but we'd like to know your view on this.
Without knowing the exact substance and the exact product, it is difficult to provide my views. If you could please create a ticket describing exactly the substance and the product that has been impacted, then we can better investigate and reply your question.
Thank you. Okay. So for a box, as we are to put info about quantity in PMS, we require number plus unit of presentation, but in unit of presentation, RMS list, all the terms related to box are either nullified or non-current. Please suggest how we can handle this. Jaume, please.
Okay, let me read this one again quickly.
Yeah.
So it's an issue in PMS and in the area where they need to put the unit of presentation, everything is nullified or non-current. This one is for PMS because, I mean, it's basically information in PMS that is consumed from RMS. Of course, in the RMS list, unit of presentation, which by the way, it's a list from EDQM, there's nullified and non-current terms, but there's also a lot of current terms. And I guess those are the ones that should be displaying, at least the current, perhaps also the non-current. The short answer is this is a question for PMS, I'm afraid.
Okay. Thank you,
if this is the case, it sounds like there's an issue in there because also current terms should be showing.
Yeah, so probably also worth a ticket in service desk, service now.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Then we can take the last question for today. When will the new SMS version be published?
I suppose this is related to the new version of the SMS guidance for external users. So we are expecting a new version to be published until October.
Okay. Thank you. Actually, we have maybe time for this one. If there is allergen excipient with SVG equals 0 and duplicate ID in SMS corresponds to a different species, completely different, which value needs to be considered?
Yes, also here, please create a ticket because it's difficult to give advice on.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, then the last one, when will be clarified the mapping from term each in EV to item RMS? The current term in PMS is box.
Yes, this one, I believe it needs to be looked at a case-by-case basis, because I guess, so the term each is in EV and we need to understand to what it should be mapped in PMS. And I guess for each product that it might have a different answer. So same as the previous question, if you could please pop in the details in a service desk ticket, and then we can look into it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this was the last question we could address today. So we have a thank you message. Thank you for this feedback. And also, this is not a question, but we will take this into account as a feedback when reassessing format for next year. Thank you. Okay. So, actually, we have just a clarification from here. When will it be clarified the mapping for each? It was confirmed by a ticket 3 times. Just
I guess this means that there's already a ticket on
Yeah.
this topic. I don't understand what it means, confirmed 3 times. I guess the information will be there, so we'll look into the ticket and we'll follow up.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that was all for today. Thank you very much to all for participating and to Jaume, Pedro, and Deborah for replying to all the questions. And so see you at the next Q&A clinic on SOR services if you have further questions on this on 13th of October. Otherwise, if you have PMS or XCP-MPD questions, as mentioned, see you on the 18th of September. And the other 2 engagement activities I mentioned, on 17th of September, we have a public system demo, live stream from EMA website. And on the 8th of October, we have the next sports status update webinar. So see you all in one of these opportunities. Thank you all and have a nice day.